Welcome back to Smut and Schmooze, where each week we discuss a book that has piqued our interest, and the past couple weeks have not been smutty. So we're going to continue that trend today with Amygdalatropolis by, give me the author because I don't have my book in front of me.
B.R. Yeager.
B.R. Yeager. This is kind of just a work of neurorealism. You're just kind of transported into, you're basically in a room and you're scouring the internet. I feel like that's pretty much what's going on in this book. You're in this teenager's bedroom, and the way that he interacts with the internet is kind of described as a city, and you're just reading his posts for a little over like 100 pages. It's not that long.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a really nice glimpse into kind of what some people really get into on the internet. The nasty, creepy stuff, the horror story stuff that you only hear about. You know what this made me think of? You know those, like, when you're on TikTok, people will show, like, the picture of the iceberg, and
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
use that a lot, and they'll talk about, like, scary shit on the internet, and, like, there's, like, all this, like, scary stuff down at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? They'll use that for a
Yeah.
bunch of examples, but I've seen one for, like, internet posts, and I thought that this was a good example of that, because he was finding the worst stuff. So,
That's true. Mm-hmm. I almost
yeah.
knocked my microwave.
It's very vague. I think it's a little bit. We both think that it's a little bit hard to kind of understand, but also, I have a learning curve. So,
Mm.
I was personally having kind of an issue with it. It's very vague, which is fine. You do learn that he is about 16 because his mom leaves a birthday cake outside of his bedroom, which you put pieces together. It's never really like established that his mom. He refers to her as like the voice, which is depressing. And he just holds up in his bedroom, and it's like scouring a bunch of 4chan chats and posts, and I feel like this kid's on the dark web, and I'm always fascinated with people that can get on the dark web. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
superpower. But he is just finding the worst shit that you can find on the internet. So, what really stood out to you? What's going
Uh,
what's going
mm.
through your little hamster wheel there?
um, well, just some of the things that he found. He was talking about how he found a video where someone got like ran over by a bulldozer and like it like made his little head pop, and I was like,
He really
it
liked
just
that.
yeah, the imagery. He very good imagery. He talks. There's a lot of talk about like, okay, trigger warning. There's like mention of CP. Do you know what I'm saying? Am I loud?
Oh,
Do you know what I'm saying?
like
CP,
do you like double?
child pornography.
Oh, oh, CP. I thought you said
Okay, yeah.
DP. I was like
So,
double pen.
no.
Oh, CP. Yeah. I mean, you could say that.
Okay,
That's a
so
thing.
there
That's the
was
technical term. But yeah, there's.
they're so in this forum they're like exchanging videos back and forth of like people dying in horrible terrible ways, like some woman getting her face bashed in, and like
Delicious. Yeah, we love
he
that.
yeah,
Kidding.
it's and he's just so desensitized to it, like he just keeps scrolling through these posts all day and night. And like, yeah, he also works, I guess, on that computer, but like
I'm
for the most part,
confused about what his job is. He's 16. What's he doing as a job online?
so what
Did he not?
I
Did he
took
get
it
his
as like,
GED?
yeah, he graduated early.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so he
I was
graduated
confused.
early. But I was thinking like cybersecurity or something. I don't fucking know.
Oh
Like
God.
this man's talking
Do
about
they
like the
let
codes. It just
16-year-olds
makes
do
sense.
that?
I mean, I fucking guess. Well, no, so apparently his aunt had made the company that she works for make that position for him specifically
Oh.
because like he was just so good at what he does. And then his dad was like pushing it too. And
It's
so
always the smart fuckers, man.
yeah,
Telling you.
yeah, but he's fucking weird.
Oh yeah, of course he is. He's. Oh
Yeah.
God.
Also, might I also, I don't know if this is the right word. I might be thinking of something different, but would you describe him as to having like an Oedipus complex? Do you know what I'm saying? Because the way he kind of like he wanted to roofie his mom, and like,
Let me see. Um. Hmm. I wouldn't have thought that at first, but you bring up a good point.
is that the right word? Is that like the correct complex, right? The Oedipus complex
The
for that?
complex of emotions aroused in a young child, typically around the age of 4, by an unconscious sexual desire for the parent of the opposite sex and wish to exclude the parent of the same sex.
Okay.
The term was originally applied to boys. The equivalent in girls is called the Electra complex.
Mm-hmm.
But think that that's I think that's just in like young children when they're like,
Okay.
just like, oh, so.
I get you.
But I see where you're going.
I did not know there was an age range for that.
I think it's just in like small children, but
Okay.
I don't think I think that brings
Well,
up a good point though.
at any rate, was fucking weird. Um, but and we that something else happens with that later. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, there are people in this. They're like confessing to whole ass murders. People are like, yeah, I killed 3 people once.
So he's on the dark web, like, I'm sorry, is that shit that you can just find Googling?
No, so I, fr- from what I read in the book, it even somewhere in here said the dark web is just finding pages that you can't find from Google or something like that. And like, first of all, how do you even get there? How do you get there? How do you find those
I
pages? I
watched
never
a
once understood
video
how
of
you do
somebody
that.
get on the dark web. They did it for like educational purposes. And like I have no, I don't remember how they did it, but like it wasn't as horribly as extensive as I thought it was. But there is just
Oh,
like it's the internet, but just a lot of drugs
oh, okay,
and
right on.
CP. Um,
Oh,
a
okay.
lot of that. Uh, yeah, I think I found that video on YouTube. It was like for educational reasons. They were like showing how to. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was interesting because I'm very fascinated by that. I'm just like, how the fuck? I'd be too scared to get
yeah,
on it. Are you kidding me? No way.
yeah. No, absolutely.
It's like
That's
the
terrifying.
boogeyman to me. I just won't do it.
Yeah. Oh, no, someone's gonna like
um,
come up to my house.
I want to talk about how desensitized he is because I think we're all pretty desensitized.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like,
Um.
like people are. I'm gonna bring this up. Like kids are getting shot for no reason. Like that kid that got shot by knocking on the wrong door on accident, and like a woman got shot for pulling into like the
I was just
fucking
about to say
wrong
that. Hmm.
driveway. Two cheerleaders got shot because they accidentally pulled the handle of the wrong car in a parking lot.
I didn't hear that one.
Oh yeah, super sad. And I feel like everybody's just like, I don't feel like they're actually at all taking it in. You know, like we don't take it in anymore. We're just like, oh, so sad. Thoughts and prayers. I hope the family sees justice, and then they just scroll along.
Hmm.
So I think as much as like somebody would want to admit that they're not desensitized or that they, that these things do bother them, I think everybody's really desensitized more than they want to acknowledge
Okay,
or
yeah, I
admit.
can agree with that.
Myself included, because I feel like I recognize it for the most part on things that I'm like, oh, I should be reacting to that and I'm not,
Hmm.
but that is
Yeah.
also trauma. So
Dude, I wasn't gonna say anything, but yeah.
trauma will definitely, really desensitize
Hmm.
you real quick.
It does something
Uh,
there.
so like for me, actually, you know what? Um, I used to watch a lot of. I loved slasher movies when I was a kid, and I think I watched too many of them because I think that they also aided in me being pretty desensitized because I watched that content at like age 11.
Hmm.
And I think about that a lot. I'm like, that probably desensitized me more than I like to think about.
Right.
Um,
It's probably not good for the developing brain, one would say.
no, yeah.
Did you ever watch Happy Tree Friends
I know what that is,
on
yeah.
YouTube? I was watching that when I was in single digits, and
Mm-hmm.
my brain was just
The
eating that
shit
shit
was
up. I was
weird.
like, yeah, this is normal. I'm gonna grow
Yeah.
up into a
But
normal
like we
person.
weren't even on like the scary parts of the web and think about all the weird shit we would come across. And this is
Oh
like,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's not anything like what it is now.
Uh-huh.
You can find weird shit on Reddit.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I think that that
Yeah, I
book
can.
was really just definitely trying to demonstrate that. Um, it was very realistic. Like it's a boy, a very smart boy. So I don't feel like people really question smart people.
Hmm.
I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but like he's really smart. He's working. His parents are definitely scared of him.
I agree with that.
Like
I agree with that.
the way his mom just like set the cake down and she's like, I'd be scared of him too.
Yeah, okay, so
I,
first of all, they let him buy their bedroom so he could move in there. He like kicked them out of their bedroom.
that's right. Yeah.
And 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 are we gonna talk about when he actually okay, so later in the book he actually literally does roofie his mom. He gives her some water, she drinks it, she passes out, and he touches her boob and he's like, I don't like this, and he stops. I'm like, okay, good. Stop right there.
Oh, is that
Um,
Oedipus complex though? Is that Oedipus complex?
you see what I'm
Oedipus?
saying?
Why did I say
You mean
Odious? No,
but that's what I'm
I'm curious to know. Would that count as Oedipus complex? A
right?
little bit, like just smidge.
Yeah. I mean
Hmm.
he is 16. I mean, who am I to say? I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. Who am I to say? I forgot where I was going with that. He forgot where I was going with that. Continue.
He's scary.
He is.
I
Oh
don't.
no! Stop. Can I continue?
Oh
I
yeah, yeah,
remembered.
yeah, yeah. Do you
He
remember?
literally knocked. He like knocked his mom out. Okay.
Mm.
So with the roofies, he like took a bat, or it's not a bat, something, and like caused he like banged her in the forehead and caused
Oh
blunt force
yeah.
trauma and made it and like hit a hole in the wall to make it seem like she slipped and fell when she was in the bathroom or something. And then she was like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
all right, but I'm gonna stay at the hospital here with your dad for like a week until we figure out what actually happened.
I
I feel
would
like that
love
was
for a
her being
forensic
like,
specialist to be like, mm-mm.
I feel like I think that she was scared of him after that because
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
I think she
And he was just like,
knew.
okay. Yeah. And
She
he
was
was like,
like,
well, as long as I have enough ramen to last me the week, I'll be fine. And he was fine. He had enough ramen. So anyway, he
stay fed.
sent, he sent articles about hikikomori who like in Japan are like basically like shut-ins. They don't ever leave. They just sit in the room all the time, whatever. He was like, "That's me. Do you understand, Mom? This is me." And they had like a fight like through the because she just wanted to see him, but he won't even open the door to like look at her. And
Uh-uh.
so they were just having this argument about hikikomori like between his door. And it's just like, God,
What do you do as a parent in that situation? And
yeah.
I know that there's like, you get your tough parents that are like, well, you just drag them out by the. No, I don't think that you can do that in this situation. I don't think tough love does it.
Hmm.
What do you even, okay, let's say you get them out of the room. What do you do? How do you even approach this?
Yeah.
Is there even enough therapy for this? Like, I don't even know. I don't know what's wrong with it. What do you do?
Yeah. No, this guy's a
I would
he's a
hope, that there would be like a rehabilitation process for that. Like, I would hope that there's a form of therapy.
hmm
Like, I think I was sad because I was like, man, this is just a kid.
yeah.
Like,
So
I do have a soft spot for kids. I don't ever want them, but I still,
right.
I still have a soft spot for them. Like,
Yeah.
and he's like,
Okay.
he's just a kid. And what the hell? Like, how did he even get down this rabbit hole? I, I don't know.
So I was there are words in here. I read a couple of like overviews of the book and people are like describing him as autistic. Would you agree with that? Cuz he is not I don't think he's autistic.
I don't. He doesn't strike me as being on the spectrum.
No, but he does okay, so he does have undiagnosed
Sure.
agoraphobia, but he was also homeschooled.
Yeah. So I think he definitely struggles with social anxiety and agoraphobia. Jesus. For sure. He doesn't strike me as being on the spectrum. Like, there wasn't anything like, he doesn't necessarily have like a set routine that, there are just like little markers. Like, he communicates well. He doesn't have any
Hmm.
issue. Like, when he does communicate, it doesn't seem like it makes him uncomfortable or anything like that. There's no like, um, I don't know. He just didn't strike me as being on the spectrum. He struck me as being very socially anxious and a little bit sociopathic.
Yeah, yeah.
I want. I wish there was a little bit more background as to his upbringing with his parents. Like, he has such hatred for his parents. I'm very curious to know a little bit more about that backstory.
Hmm.
I would have liked to, I guess that's, now I'm just into the point that I'm like, how did we get it here? Like, what happened?
Yeah. Okay, well, especially okay, so his dad got cancer and his mom was like begging him at the door, "Will you please come see your dad? Like he just wants to spend time with you. He just wants to see you." And he goes, "He's sick. That's gross. I don't want those cooties." Like he thought in his mind the cancer was almost contagious. Like if he were to just breathe in the man's dust, he would get sick. And then like even after his dad like died later, he was like,
It's true.
the dust, my dad's dust." He
It's
just
interesting.
everything. I just
I think he's just, I don't know, I just, somewhere along the line, he got to there, and I, I don't know.
it's so weird. And it is really vague. It's really hard to tell what's going on
It's really
because it's
vague.
like the text is always broken up by either okay, so it's either like a part of his life, like what he's doing, like if he's talking to his parents or something, and then it's back to a forum, and then it's back to like there is one chapter where there were like I just like when you take like a personality test and it asks you questions and it's like agree, strongly agree, disagree, strongly disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
like there was like an entire chapter where like the bits and pieces of the story were broken up by like questions like I dislike
Yeah.
coming across words I'm not familiar with, or sometimes I can change noise into music just by listening to it
I
right.
forgot
And I'm
about
like, this,
that. You
where
were
is this
reading
all
the
coming
survey.
from?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't know what sites he's on necessarily, and you don't really. There aren't a whole lot, um, like where you see the other people's responses. It's just like his
Hmm.
responses to things.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's exactly what you would see from like these people exist. This is like I feel like this is your internet troll.
Yeah.
You know he is one.
Hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
these are the people that hide behind their computers. Like this is it. That's him. It's one of
Hmm.
them, and it's sad that it's a child.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's an interesting read. And it's
I
other, he's talking, and in this forum, he's not the only child in this forum. There are like
no.
15-year-olds
Yeah.
murdering their cousins in this book.
Shit
It's,
people admit on the internet. And I'm like, how are you not getting caught?
yeah.
Just kidding.
Uh-huh.
I definitely know how you're not getting caught.
Yeah, yeah.
I, I
That aside, um,
it's it makes me think of and I had talked to a friend about this because I had listened to a podcast discussing it, and it's crazy because it makes me think of the subliminal messaging that you'll find in like YouTube videos, like the podcast that I was listening to. Uh, the host was talking about how her son had was just watching like silly like compilation videos, and then there was just like a tiny like millisecond snippet of like what's his name, like Alex Jones or something like that,
mhm,
and just like weird white supremacy like subliminal messaging, and like those clips will get like longer and longer, and you'll be like, and the kids are like, oh well that's that funny guy from that funny video, and they'll, you know, and then they
mm,
start getting into that. So I could see if your kids are isolated or they're isolating themselves a lot, and maybe this it sounds like this kid was, you know, he was isolating himself, and I don't think his parents intentionally meant to, you know, let that happen. But he probably started out harmless, and you find these, you know, little things, and then they get the longer videos, and they're coming into like they're finding more like harmful messaging, like the white supremacy. Like there's a lot of white supremacy videos, and that's how you kind of get these um, guys that we see now that are running around shooting everybody, and that's
mhm,
kind of how it starts. Like they get roped into this mentality, and I bet that that's kind of maybe how it started for him. You know, it's just like
mhm,
you fall down a rabbit hole, and he's smart, obviously, um, and I think he just Alice found fell down the hole. You know, like
yeah,
but that's what it made me think of. I'm like, oh, like that's actually a thing. Like there's like subliminal messaging and like harmful little YouTube videos that get kids, especially young boys, kind of roped into that shit.
mhm.
Um, and it's sad.
It is sad.
Um,
And like he doesn't get better, by the way. It just gets worse.
no.
And he does age throughout the book.
I had a hard
Like
time keeping up with that.
me too. So at first, okay, so for last okay, so his parents died, then the next thing I know, it's been 6 years since then. And the
Jesus.
next thing I know, he's 40. Unless he was just
Yeah.
like dreaming or something at that point. This
No,
man is literally
I think that
40
that was
by the
it.
end of
But
the book.
I was having a hard time following that. I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. Whoa, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but it just gets increasingly weird,
Yeah, he just
and it
keeps
starts to
doing
not
more
make any
shit.
sense at all towards the end.
Um, I don't really have any qualms with this book. It's a quick read. It's not like it doesn't take long. It is I don't know, for me it was a little confusing, like we talked about. I I don't think that it's like it's not something that's just like this is like the most disgusting and horrifying thing I've ever read. No, it's not. I think it's very realistic. Like, people
Mm-hmm.
do get on this shit. These are like sites and forums that you can fucking access. People do it all the time,
Yeah.
which is concerning. And I think it's hard to read what people are actually like when you're like reading it. You're like, ugh, because you don't like we're not actively looking for those things. So like as a reader, I'm like, ooh, I didn't actually want to read these forums. Like,
Yeah.
it was a little
Yeah.
icky. And it's hard to think that that's just what's out there in the deep dark web.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Dead Inside was a worse book.
Dead Inside is the worst book I've ever read in my entire life. I'm literally going, oh, never mind.
I
I
didn't
was
feel like
thinking
this
I
was
want
lazy
to.
writing.
Yeah, no, this was really good. Like the first 40 pages of it was like some kind of like deep dive, and this man is like citing sources, and none of it makes sense.
You're
He's using
almost
big
like, wow,
words.
what's he getting into? The fuck? And then
Yeah,
you're like, pump the brakes, buddy.
yeah,
No, I think it has its intention, and I think that, yeah, it was as the book's described. It's a fantastic work of neorealism. It absolutely is.
hmm,
I think it did its job well.
yeah,
It's not a book that I A will ever reread, and B, it's not a 5-star read for me, just because like it was depressing.
I agree.
But I think
It was
that's the
depressing.
point.
Yeah.
I don't have any complaints about it. The book is what it is. It's not, it just is what it is.
Hmm.
Um, I thought it was kind of cool to, you know, it was an interesting like idea. Um,
Yeah. No, it was an eye opener. I learned a few things.
People be doing some weird fucking shit on the internet. I'm over here actually just looking at cute little like cat videos,
Yeah.
and people
Yeah.
are out here watching somebody get run over with a fucking tank or whatever,
Yeah.
and
There's a spectrum there. There's a whole spectrum there.
it made me think of the
It's
iceberg. Yeah.
yeah. It wasn't it was not what I thought it was going to be. I don't
I
know what I
thought it
thought
was
it was going to
gonna. I
be.
didn't think it was gonna be in that layout
Okay,
at
yeah.
all. I thought it was gonna be like an actual
Yeah.
like story. I didn't think it was gonna be like written out like that.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, me either.
and like the way people made it sound was just gonna be so scary and horrifying, and I just was not at all like reading it. I was like, oh no, people do this. Like, this is the shit that you hear about people doing. I didn't want to
Mhm.
actually read the forums. I didn't enjoy that part.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but I wasn't surprised at all or anything. Um, is it, see, now, should I be concerned by how desensitized I am?
No.
Is this me being
No, there's no
desensitized?
point.
But like, I
Listen,
just
it's
don't find
not
it
your fault.
surprising. It's not
Yeah.
my fault. It's not.
It's not your
Um,
fault.
no, it just, I guess that's just not one of the things that triggers me. I'm just not surprised
Mhm.
by this. I'm like, no, these creepy fucking people exist,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we don't
He
do anything about it.
Yeah, in the book, this man orders like I thought he was ordering like just a woman to come over and have sex with him. No, she comes like she breaks in through like his window, and she's like, "I kill for you." She got like a gun slung over her shoulder. She's like, "I will kill for you," and he's like, "Oh," and then like she runs him around, and they're like doing things, and this man is still underage, by the way. This is a grown ass woman toting this man around. She's not a man; he's a boy,
How do
and
you even find somebody like that on the internet? What?
yeah. And then like he comes back home and like he never sees her again.
I thought that was a really weird interaction. I'm glad you brought that up because I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? How do you?
Yeah,
How
that
did he
was
even?
really fucking
What?
weird.
How'd you find her?
Yeah,
She
hello.
just comes in like a lady of the night, gun on her back.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That
I mean, if
happens?
that's your thing, I will
Like
kill for
some
you.
off-brand Catwoman? I'm upset. Like,
Oh god, that was okay. Anyway, that was kind of funny, but
no, I
um
laughed at that part because I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, and this is where I lose my suspension of
jeez.
disbelief. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really have anything
Yeah.
else to say about it. Like, I mean, I think it's an interesting read. I would recommend it just because, like, yeah, it's. I haven't read anything else like it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's for sure. I think it is a good introduction
a lot of
to
trigger
to
warnings.
a lot of trigger warnings, yeah, but a good introduction to like the deep web. Also, we're gonna sound like a bunch of dweebs calling it the deep web because in the book they're like only dweebs call it the deep web or
I won't be a
whatever.
dweeb. It's
Motherfucker,
the deep web, the
I don't know
dark
shit about
web.
that,
I
so
don't
I'm gonna
either.
call it whatever the fuck I
I
want.
can barely fucking find an answer on Google.
I'm saying, yeah.
I
So
get frustrated if I can't get into my Instagram account.
yeah. Oh yeah, me too.
The internet inconveniences me all the time. Like, I feel like such an old person. I'm like, I don't know
Constantly.
what I'm doing.
The technology is just changing all the time and it's never easy. First of all, I barely know how to make a TikTok. That shit is so fucking
I have
hard.
no idea how anybody's making a TikTok. I cannot figure it out. I don't even know how people make reels. Um,
I'm,
I just like clipped the video on Instagram and it took me a while to figure that out. I don't know how people actually make these interesting fucking reels. I couldn't figure out Vine when it came out.
I couldn't figure out Vine either.
So, I can do very little. When I was 16, I was just on Bebo and Facebook.
What's Bebo?
It was like, because I also had a MySpace, but I felt like Bebo was like a more user-friendly version of MySpace, in my
Oh, I
opinion. It
getcha.
was just the
I
off-brand
getcha.
fucking MySpace. And that's what I did. And when I was younger than that, I would get on funnyjunk.com.
Fuck,
So,
I love
oh
Funny Drunk
my
was where it was at.
God, I know it was worth
Funny
all the
Junk.
viruses it put on my computer.
Yes.
Um, Loved funnyjunk.com. Rest in peace.
That was a
I
blast
miss
from the
it all the
past. That
time.
was that was a
God.
jump scare. I haven't thought about
Oh, I think
funnydrunk.com
about it
in
all the
ages.
time. I'm like, man, what I would give. I loved
Yeah.
funnyjunk.com. And the early days of YouTube, because like we were around when it first started,
Yeah.
and there were some fucking gems on there, and I miss those. Like, just
Yeah.
you can't get any cringier than that. That was good stuff. That was some home
Mhm.
entertainment.
That was entertainment. That was content.
Man.
Yes. Early YouTubers, oh, did not age well. None of them aged well. It's all god awful.
Oh
It's
god, it's so
so
terrible.
funny how that shit changes.
It's wild the difference between like current YouTubers and like the 2010 to 2014 era.
Mhm.
You know? Like the
Mhm.
2010s to like now, they're drastically different. And I thought that they were
Yeah.
doing like groundbreaking work then. Um, did you watch Fred?
I did watch Fred. Did you watch
Yeah.
the Fred movie? The
No,
movie?
no, I stopped once he was like off of YouTube.
Did you know Fred is a trans woman? He's a trans woman. He's trans. She's trans. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Oh my god, I'm sorry. She's trans.
She's trans.
She came out as trans.
Fred is Fred.
Oh, I don't
What does
know her
she go
name.
by now?
I don't know her name. But I
Wow,
found yeah.
I thought that he was just gay.
I just thought that man was gay.
I
For
knew he
real.
was not straight.
Mhm.
I was
No,
like,
that much was
no,
clear.
no. I was like, there's no fucking way. No, I
Yeah.
refuse to believe that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that she was trans. Interesting. Good for her. Whatever. She's
Yeah,
having
I
a
love
great
that for
time.
her.
Want to know what her name
Yeah.
is now. I bet she makes a pretty. I bet she's pretty. She's really
No,
nice
she is
hair.
pretty.
He had
Mm-hmm.
nice hair then. Wow. Oh,
No.
cool. Good for her.
No.
Had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Love that for her.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to read something smutty.
Verity. Verity. Verity.
You want to do Verity? It's not smutty, I'll tell you that right now.
It's not? Have you read
No.
it?
Had a coworker read it, and then my other coworker listened to it, and one likes it, the other one hates it.
Okay, then no. That's a
Um,
shame.
I want to. I think eventually want to do it. I do want to listen to it, just not immediately.
Uh-huh.
It is on my TBR because I'm curious. Don't think I'm gonna be a Colleen Hoover fan. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, no, yeah. But I've heard mixed, well, and by mixed I mean a lot of like, well, I haven't seen any negative reviews. I've mainly just heard that it's smutty. But like, if it's not really, why are these people
The one coworker that didn't like it, she was just like, I hate the characters. I'll have to ask her. Actually, I want to do it at some point because I do want her to be on it. Because she's really funny.
Yeah.
But and yeah, we can definitely, that can be on our TBR though, because I am curious. But it's not like a steamy smut.
Okay, I have a suggestion. Hold on one moment. Okay, so I think I told you about this book, but it's called Captive of Wolves. And it's this woman, it's just a suggestion, but it's fucking weird. And it's also so fucking bad that this is the first book in a series that I have not felt any desire to get the next book in because it's written so terribly, but the sexy parts are so good. They're so good. And for what? I don't know. But it's unbelievably terrible.
Let me
So,
look that one up. Also, there's that Seduced by a Dinosaur or whatever. And then also for a serious one that I actually really want to read. I forgot the name of it. I have to look it up, but it's Hockey Smut. And
hockey smut.
yes, and it's
Okay.
supposed to be so spicy and actually pretty good.
Okay.
So I'll send that one to you. I'm gonna look that one up though, see if I can
Yeah.
find a few pages because I want to see how horribly written it is.
Mhm.
I do love to make fun of things. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel like we would have a heyday over this.
Oh,
It's
that's a good
literally so
point.
fucking funny. I know you'd be cackling.
Oh God,
Really.
I do love fucking. I love to make fun of shit.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, am I the internet troll?
Could be. Actually, yeah. But that's okay. We're
That's
allowed.
alright. What do you want from me? I'm traumatized. Leave me alone. Let me be mean.
Bitch, me too.
Okay, so we've got some options, but we're definitely gonna go back on the smut route because now I'm starting to get depressed.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, these books are
Definitely.
kind of a downer.
Yeah.
This one was really a downer. I was like, whoa, this is sad. Alright,
Yeah.
this is a
Yeah.
bummer.
Well, so we'll switch it up.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for listening. We will be back with something smutty next time. And I think we recommend Amygdalatropolis if you want something in this ball field. It's weird. Go for it.
Mhm.
Anyway, all right. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.